So, welcome back, everyone. Last we left off, you all had gone to trial with Amora the Speaker, pleading your case, providing information, trying to sway any decision that he may or may not have decided to make about everything that has happened so far that has led you to this point. After several hours of conversation back and forth with him, you are all led back to the cell, except for one of you, Riva, who was brought back to Amora's chambers, where he had to spend time in the court of the lamented, speaking to Amora about his father, with his father present. Riva giving him a piece of his mind, and Riva's father, not even acknowledging his presence, spoke to Amora once more. And with that, Riva was pulled from the court of the lamented, brought back down to your cell, where you awaited a decision for all of you. After several more hours of waiting in silence, debating what had happened, just trying to make sense of everything, you were brought to the Heretic's Path. A place not often used and often forgotten about, or more so a place people don't wish to speak of. Verdicts were given first to one Captain Sariel, who was hung for his crimes of betrayal against the Oct. After his body was removed, a second individual was brought up, Riva's father, as well. As Etham was read his crime and hung magically with a noose in the air, he looked down over at Riva, and in a voice not of his own, said, "Poor little lamb." It began to rain, thunder striking the skies. A moment was given for Riva to mourn in his own way the death of his father, and to make more sense of what had just happened. And with that, you were brought back down to one familiar prison cell. And that is where we will begin today's session. Back in the holding cell, awaiting some type of judgment. Is there anything that any of you would wish to do or discuss in this moment?
Or make sure you heal yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know exactly what's to become of us, but I has a thought.
Before we go into that thought, Riva, was that Tyr speaking through your father?
There was no idea.
I mean, you all saw that, right?
Yeah.
I would say, Riva, go ahead and make an insight check. Insight or intelligence? Insight, okay.
I'd already had it clicked, but then you were like,
no, that's fine.
I'd much rather do a intelligence-based check, but
That's fine.
for
the
shiggles.
The voices, though, yep, shits and giggles. Well,
No.
Almost. Almost the same.
It's all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits.
You think back, trying to glean what you can from that interaction, and although the voice was not quite that of what you remember from Tyr, there was a similarity to it in its
And
demeanor and tone.
I think for Riva, with what he said about my sister and the mental damage that I had taken from that, makes sense that I wasn't really paying attention to that slight change. I said, but that's besides the point. We find ourselves with a grand opportunity. Now, it's not often that the likes of any of us would ever talk to the Oct, let alone do him a service. And we've done both of those things. So I say, if we can manage to be in the speaker's good enough graces, perhaps we may continue to be of service. I mean, it's been shown. I mean, I turned over my own dad. I mean, what more show of... I mean, loyalty is not the right word, but you know what I mean.
So you're suggesting we work for them?
Well, it's a lot better than many other opportunities. Like death.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, we still don't know what they're going to do with us. They haven't really made any indication whether they find us guilty of something or not.
They wouldn't have made such a big show if they were going to kill us.
Alright.
We would have been on the chopping block with them.
We were in the free and clear.
I certainly would have been if they were making such a big statement to the guard.
I mean,
Yeah,
I could tell you this much, that I mean, we're going to have issues from other people, namely my brother. Well, I mean, we had no proof that he knew what was going on, but trust me when I say he knew what was going on.
You think he was working with your father? It was in on this?
Absolutely. That was his heir apparent.
I am a goldfish who suddenly finds himself plunged to the depths of the ocean. Normally I try and look out for you, but in these kind of circumstances, I think I'm going to have to ask you to look out for me.
Without doubt. I think, I mean, it's a risky play, but I don't see it putting us any worse off than we already is.
Natho, I think at this point we'll all look out for you.
Oh, yeah.
We are still trying to clear Jareth. I don't know if... I think what we've already done so far would have cleared you, but I guess this is just taking it a step further.
Well, you see, that's where I get lost. Clear him when he didn't do anything. I mean, Jareth, you really didn't. They did something to you that went wrong. Airfinger quotes it, wrong. And want to punish you for it. That doesn't make no sense. No, does it?
I don't think it was punishment. I think they're trying to hide the evidence. the punishment has, or that the crime has been discovered and punished, I don't think we're in the clear. I thought we were in the clear, but like I said, out of my depth.
If the speaker truly has no knowledge as to what was done to me, and since I wasn't already hung, my only thought is that they're going to want to observe and see how this could potentially benefit them. So I think either they're going to let us go, whether we're working for them or not, and maintain a very close watch on me, or they're going to take me to some lesser known dungeon, rip this stone out of my arm, and truly make me refuse.
Well, they
Well,
could try.
I mean, the reality, Jareth, is they may not see it as a total success, but it's still. I mean, you're alive. It works. You get to do fun things with it. I mean, it's still hurting you a little bit. Still ache.
I think at this point, I'm more of an experiment than what was intended.
I mean, like I said, but as a whole, we've shown that. I mean, yeah, there was the spell that made us tell the truth, but he did leave us out. He did leave us opportunities to be deceitful, and we weren't. Now, maybe that was a test. Remember, he asked us, is there anything else that we would like to share with him? Now, granted, I did like sharing that my dad was involved, so maybe I had to. I don't know, but it was still. I mean, you could call it semantics if you wish, but he gave us opportunities to be deceitful with him, and we weren't. Zone of truth and no zone of truth.
And Riva, I think you're right that I don't even know if they're going to give us the option to work for them or if we are going to be forced to work for them. But given the option, we're going to be observed closely anyways.
Oh, I mean, we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't.
I think your idea is our best bet for gaining even more information.
Well, and to, I feel like, also prove your usefulness. I don't know if they're going to view you as a risk or a failure or a liability. And like you said, lock you up in a dungeon. So, I mean, this kind of goes true for all of us, but especially you.
Well, and shit, Redwin, you just got on the expressway to working with the Oct.
Maybe. I wonder how long they're going to leave us in here, though.
Is anyone against the idea of offering to work for them?
I don't think so, but I do think they're going to be a very unforgiving employer.
Well, I think it's like I said, I think we're beyond that. I mean, either way, our lives have been intertwined with the Oct at this point.
Right.
And we have been put upon their view. And I think that no matter what we do, from here on out, we will, as Jareth says, are going to be closely watched. To try and save a modicum of agency in that whatever arrangement is offered to us. I mean, for all I know, we could be next and being executed. Although I think if that was to be the case, is that we would have been on that with my dear old dad. We've shown that we can be honest. We've shown that my relationship with my dad aside, that there's no lengths to which we would not go, and who we would be willing to turn over. I wouldn't really call it a betrayal. Of course, I wasn't betraying my dad.
Well, let's see what they have to offer.
I mean, at this point, what we got to lose?
It's about at this time that you start to hear steps descending down those cold, dark stone stairs to your cell. You see a light coming towards the thin slits that hold that are encased in the door as it begins to open. A familiar guard who you've been bantering with back and forth, Riva, greets you and your group. He looks over at all of you and gestures for you to come with him. Do you follow?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. And with that, he leads you and your party up those same familiar stairs, through the hidden illusory doorway in the wall, to the two large doors in front of you, opening them once again, letting you back in to the court of the lamented. And here, you find yourself back in the very familiar judgment hall you came from not so long ago. One Amora, the speaker, sitting there, ready for you all. Familiar in his gaze, scepter in hand, he gestures at you once again to take a familiar seat around the room. He goes, "Children, it's time for us to make our own judgment here. Are you ready?"
I believe that we are. Yes. I think, if I may speak,
Please, go right ahead, child.
that although those of us being as lowly as we are, we have shown to you, speaker, that we could become valuable asset to one such as yourself. For you have great and many things that occupy your time. We could be eyes and ears, fingers to other things that go on that may be beneath your current notice. As we have shown through our honesty and openness, my willingness to turn over my dad, that I feel that my team and I here could be a valuable resource.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Alrighty.
Okay. And with that, he gestures at you one at a time, first pointing at you, Redwin. Redwin Loudfist, daughter of Randwin and Lastrin. I find no fault in your dealings with Jareth. Reinhold. You were an innocent, struck upon a poor situation. You were free to go. And he gestures for the door for you to leave. The door opens with the two guards waiting for you at the opposite side. Do you leave?
I speak up. Speaker Amora, may I please be present to know what becomes of my companions?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, and I'll say at advantage.
Persuasion.
The door is yours to take. You may leave.
I reluctantly stand and slowly walk to the door.
Redwin exits the chamber, doors shutting behind her. More the speaker continues. Young Gorwyn, shadow-touched. As much in this instance as I would like to put a noose around another one of your family, you have been more than helpful. And with that, in your aid, you are free to go.
I myself will speak up. Just be like, Speaker Amora. I had been instructed to keep an eye on Gorn, make sure he's safe, and I would prefer not to leave until I at least hear his sentence.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check. Normal. You may stay. For now. And wait by
Thank you,
the
Speaker
door.
Amora.
He gestures for you to wait by the door by the guards.
I shall go do that.
All right. He then looks over at you, Nertho. Goes. And to you, Nertho. Once again, I find no fault in this case, other than aiding a friend and solving a problem. So, with that, you are also free to go. Although I believe you'll be reluctant, as you seem very attached to this one. He gestures over to Reba.
Respectfully, I would prefer to share my fate with Reba's regardless of what it is.
Very well. Revelor Skybound, son of the recently deceased Etham. Before we pass judgment, I have a question.
Yes, Speaker.
How is your brother?
Well, the last time I saw my brother, he had a bloody nose from me clocking him one as I left the family, and as far as I would know, he's probably, if he knows about Dad's by now, which I'm sure he does, he's in a fit of rage. Because now he has to manage everything that Dad was managing, because, well, he probably already knew about it. I have no proof, but if it was something that Ethan was into, he's likely to know about all of it.
I see. Well, I may have something for you to accomplish, as it seems that your fate is tied to his, and he points over at Jareth. Jareth Reinhold, soon to be promoted to the upper ranks, to experience a blessing, and to have that blessing taken and twisted. Your fate depends on your answer.
My answer to what, Speaker?
Say we were to offer you a chance at redemption. Even though you have done nothing wrong, apart from flee from judgment, which in and of itself is a crime. But considering the great lengths that you and those who you've gathered around you have gone through to find out some of the truth, I would like to charge you with one last task, if you're willing to take it. It comes with a cost. So, I need you on your honor, on your mentor's honor, to track down one, Haldir Skybound. Bring him back here either dead or alive, so we may either speak to a person or a corpse. For what happened to you, we cannot allow to happen again. And unfortunately for you, Riva, he looks over, your brother is missing. Somehow he slipped away on one of your family's ships and is gone, watching it disappear into the ether, so we were told. So, I would like the two of you, and your group. He looks over at, you, Goran, as you stand by the door, and looks almost past you, through the door, and the one out there, to take to the skies, to find Haldir, and bring him back.
Might I request 2 conditions for this task?
I nudge you in the ribs.
Speak.
I get to choose the team that goes with me. And would you be willing to offer assistance outfitting us for this task? Possibly with one item within reason per request from each of my members.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Can I attempt to aid?
No. Not in this situation. Your
Okay.
your aide was nudging him in the ribs, and he
Yeah, that's what I
didn't
mean.
take
I was gonna, yeah.
16's not bad.
He looks over and goes, "Well, unfortunately for you, you've already picked your team. And as far as aiding an outfit, we give nothing more than two things. Riva." And he pulls out a long scroll and hands it over to you.
Okay.
Your family's business no longer exists. The skybounds are no more. Don't worry. We'll make sure your mother is looked after. But with that, a parting gift from your family, or for what was your family. And he hands you over the rights to your family's luxury ship.
Ooh. There we go.
Bezos yacht.
2. With that, Riva, I offer you a gift for you to report your progress back to us. And he pulls out this long, beautiful necklace, shimmering of diamonds and these blue gems, almost in the shape of a jaw, and hands it to you.
Okay.
And goes, "This will allow for you, Riva, to report on your progress and to make sure that things are going smoothly. You can reach out to me, and allows me to easily reach out to you. Now, with this, I don't have a time frame for when I request your brother brought back. One way or the other. But I will say this. Just remember that if you fail to produce results, we can always come and snatch you up once more."
Now you did say that dead was acceptable.
Correct. The truth
mean-
doesn't pass away with death.
I mean, I'd like to bring him in alive. Believe me, I would. Just to watch the look on his face. So I will do my best to bring him to you in that state. But this is my brother, and well, dead might be the only way to get me here.
That is your choice. But that how you decide to go about that is entirely on your own. So, I encourage you to report back soon Now, the gift that we will give in return for finishing this task for us is nothing easily gained. Upon the ox next convening, I will cast my word in your favor of being given your freedom and no longer being branded as heretics to the others. And also with that, I will give you back your mother, Riva. To you, Jareth, I offer acceptance back into our fold if you'd like. And if not, that is fine as well. And there
May I
are
ask
other
one? Oh,
and there are other unspoken benefits as well. And he looks over right at you, Gorwin, and just stares you down. Looks back. Do we have an agreement?
I agree. But may I ask one final question?
I nudge you in the ribs again. Hard.
Speak.
What has become of Captain Adelum?
Let's say that depends on you. But know that for now he is safe and well.
Thank you, Speaker, for this gift and opportunity.
Well, everything that you require and your newfound ship, or an old friend returning to the fold, will be waiting for you at your parents' estate. Or, should I say, a new industry starting to bloom from another source. So with that, I bid you farewell, and we will be in touch. And he raises both of his arms wide, gesturing over all of you, and says, I thank you for the truth, children. May you find your path back to where it should be in this task. The doors start to swing open. Redwyn waiting on the opposite side. And with that, you are led back to Pios, to the outer streets, escorted by guards, loosely to a familiar prisoner ship that you had boarded once before. But this time it's different. You're allowed to travel freely amongst the top of the deck. Guards in tow watching your every movement. You spend the next hour traveling between the two cities, them seeming to take what almost feels like a different path, even though it's hard to tell from the hold below last time. This brings back a feeling of excitement to you, Riva, as you fly around a familiar city, not having seen it in its glory in such a long time. Seeing the lands below, bringing excitement back. But in that moment, you once again find yourselves back on Picos. Guards escorting you, leaving you off the ship. And with that, You're all free to do as you please.
So that last little persuasion was just me thinking, God, Redwin's trying to spend 1,500 gold on some plate mail.
I sign to Nertho, and we're gonna need a lead box.
I, like, shrug back and sign. Don't we already have one? Oh, never mind. Yeah.
And then and I kind of point like to the necklace, and I think I would go over to. I'm assuming that Gorman would know thieves can't, and signs as well. And
You
I
have
would
communicated with him at Thieves' Camp before, so
yeah,
yes.
exactly. And I would sign like, I don't trust talking around this thing. We're gonna need a lead box to put this shit in.
Which, oddly enough, is one word in Thieves' Can't.
I just give a thumbs up.
You know.
Ryan, would I have heard anything that happened behind when I left the room?
Oddly enough, as you stood outside those doors, apart from the creaking of the armor of the guards and just those noises of them standing there almost out of boredom. Well, not out of boredom, standing there bored in their duties. You couldn't hear a thing beyond those walls.
I think on the hour flight back, Jareth would have communicated the big picture to Redwin.
Yeah, because I would have been like very relieved that you all ended up coming out and asked you like what the verdict was, and got filled in then that you and Riva basically have to do this to prove your innocence or whatever.
Well, I can tell you this much. I think we have entirely too little money. I mean, I guess it'd be a conversation between Ryan and I as how offensively outfitted my family's luxury ship is.
You'll have to find out once you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he
gonna
did
be
mention
bad.
that we would be outfitted with everything that we would need.
Yeah, but I'm
Everything
talking.
he thinks we would need.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I think that I and Nertho, I'm going to go track down my mom.
I think before you leave, Riva, Jareth would kind of ask, like, what are we going up against? What do we need to know and prepare for if we're going to track down and potentially capture or kill your brother?
I think it's probably more of a question of what aren't you going up against? I mean, he's conniving, devious. I mean, he's a mere image of my dad. Really.
I mean, is he skilled in combat? Does he have any...
Does he also sometimes speak in other people's voices?
I mean, sometimes.
Is he a man of guile like you? Is he a caster?
These are all things that I'm personally not privy to. And I don't want to give a flippant answer right now and tie us in.
Alright, so we're going against the barbarian.
No, I'm going to assume that he would have solid weapons training, possible arcane training as well. Just
what's his
based on
combat rating specifically?
My family. You know, I mean, he's like a CR20.
No, I don't know. It's been about 23 years, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that I was the one who showed the more arcane adeptness based off of backstory and conversations I've had. But it doesn't mean that he would be a slouch either. And he's also got,
An
probably
exorbitant
people.
amount of money and resources.
Not anymore.
But over 23 years, did.
Yeah. And I mean, not that my family wasn't, a major family. They weren't super wealthy. I mean, they weren't poor.
Anyone who
But
has a sky yacht is wealthy.
They've got
He's
yacht
got a
money. They're
Bezos
wealthy.
ship. I mean, come on. He's got a
But
helipad for his helipad.
I assume the like we got the paperwork saying we're allowed to fly it from them. I assume that is probably harder to come
yeah.
ship and the expertise. Like we're bona fide.
So, my question is, how can somebody disappear so easily in between these two floating cities? Do they think he's left completely?
Maybe
I mean,
he
if
fell off.
it's possible. I mean, I'm assuming that he took a ship and fled because he found out that Dad got caught and so on and so forth. And I think that
Didn't he say he had been missing for a while?
no, just that he was missing.
And if he'd been working with Tyr, there's a possibility that
They could
there's
be
some,
hiding
yeah.
in the
Some
Do
fake.
we have
otherworldly
any
nature.
indication that Tyr recognized Ryuga?
Well, we saw his dad's eyes change and
Yeah.
spoke in a voice reminiscent of it, so
Well, no, but I was saying like at the time.
I don't recall, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not in the initial meeting. But I think that with only certain patrols, like if he took an airship and bolted and decided to go out past the areas where you're supposed to go, there's not much out there looking, So I mean, it's possible he's just, or maybe there is. Like I said, we don't really know what's out there, but maybe other people do. And yeah, maybe he went to go regroup with this faction.
Because it's been a while, as a reminder, Redwin, you do have that map from a while ago.
Yeah, but I don't think at this point there's nothing to like tie this into it yet.
a map of what?
Oh yeah, I've got a map. Map of Taurinia.
Okay. I was gonna say Redwind as well. While we're doing all this, I think Jareth would be happy to escort you back to meet with your family as you wanted to do like a week ago.
Oh yes, I would definitely want to go meet with my family, make sure they're okay, and since we're, especially you, Jareth, are okay now to walk topside and everything seems safe and fine and fixed and whatever right now, so definitely gonna do that.
Ryan, would shops be less expensive topside than they were in the fakes, or about the same?
I mean, the shop prices between the two are actually fairly similar. The biggest difference from your encounter so far, and from what everyone has told you, would be it's easier to find illicit goods. Well, you can find illicit goods in the fakes and more uncommon items. However, topside, everything's relatively controlled. Apart from basic arms and armor, it's unless you have standing or reason to own something beyond that, it tends to be pretty hard to get a hold of that stuff.
Okay, but as far as general supplies like potions and whatnot, comparable.
I mean, yeah, you can buy any of the basic listed items in the player's handbook.
Okay.
And which would also be as I believe they are a journal entry in here as well.
Well, I was curious too, because the gunblade is technically like a feat or a skill.
It's a controlled item. Mm-hmm.
If I were to get like a +1 greatsword, this is going definitely in the future. Would it essentially be a +1 gunblade?
It would cost. So it's definitely, to make it more magical. It's inherently magical by your nature, but to make it magical beyond its current capability, you could spend some time and some money, and it would take some time. But it is something that you could do.
Okay. Because I know I have Armsmith, which is what does it say directly? You spend 1 day working on one of your weapons to complete the conversion process to a gunblade.
Yep, and that is combining whatever blade you want with the firearm componentry that you have from it, and that's all it's doing.
Okay. Good to know. So I'm assuming Redwin and I are going to the Loud Fist.
Yeah, I think sounds good to me. We should probably figure out a time and place to meet up to discuss next steps, but
Figure we'll start moving our things to the ship, or at least preparing it to be moved to the ship.
After we go find my mom.
Yeah.
I was going to say, secondary to meeting with the Loud Fists, I think Jarrett's next priority would be inspecting the ship and provisions supplied to see what else we need.
Let those who know how to do that take care of it.
Oh, I meant like, was there any equipment, rations, etc.? Everything that's secondary to the ship itself. Jared's not going to be inspecting the mechanical workings of the airship. It's that's certainly a gear.
Yeah, remember, this is what I used to do. I'll make sure we have everything.
Oh, I meant like
yeah, I'm talking like
supplies
and everything that you need for a ship journey. Like, yeah, remember, Riva used to captain a ship. It's why I'm exiled.
I meant more so like, do they provide us with any?
Yeah,
like
I know what you're saying. Like, I will make sure to go through inventory, and you know what I mean. Like, make sure we got what we need. Like, not.
Did they throw Redwin a
operation
set of plate armor?
But like, we need food and water, and yeah,
Fair.
Potions, I suppose we do that ourselves, though. So.
I mean, need is a strong word when there's a druid on board, but
yeah, I mean, and you get a good berry, and you get a good berry.
So Ryan, we all leveled up from shitting our pants in court, right?
Nope, not at all.
Dang.
Gained 2 levels in between combat encounters.
Nope, a player can dream.
I think I gained a level in anxiety, though.
So, all right. So
I have a mechanic for that. It's called Strife. It's from advanced. It's from Level Up Advanced 5th Edition. Trust me, you don't want it.
You can all add a feat called PTSD.
It's called Spicy Memories. So, from my understanding, right now, Riva, you and whoever wants to join you is going to look for your mother. Redwin, you and whoever wants to join you, you're going to go back to your family and let them know you're fine. Nertho, Are you going? Who are you? What are you
Riva.
doing? Okay.
Yeah, I'm tagging along.
Jareth.
Definitely going with red one.
Okay. Gorwin.
Well, if for leaving for a long trip, I'd probably be heading to say bye to the family
Okay.
and Anran, see if they've maybe got some insight of what to expect, and see if my family has anything they would like to provide for the trip.
Sure. So, all right. So let's start. We'll start with Redwin. So, Redwin, you and Jareth head back down the familiar and welcoming roads. Excuse me, of Picos. Heading back down the streets in your home district, back to your family's shop. It looks as though business is normal. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. You open the front door and you're greeted by your father. He's, super ecstatic and excited to see you. Excuse me. Again, just a very chipper fellow, just always looking happy and come on. It's me and Ben.
I can't tell if you're cutting out.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. So, greeting you and Jareth, going, "Oh, Redwin, welcome back. How was your trip to the top? Did you get into that school?"
I don't know yet.
Oh. Well, I'm sure if anyone could go through their trials, it'd be you.
I appreciate your confidence in me, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be back home for very long because I will be accompanying my friends on one of these trials.
Oh, for how long? You don't know how long? What can I do to help?
I don't know. And we don't know how long. It'll take us as long as it takes us to complete it. It sounds like we'll be doing some traveling via airship. So I think making sure my companions and my equipment is all up to par. And then if we need to get any additional materials, of course I need to pack. While I was away, did any letters come for me or come to you and Mom, like about me, about going topside? Or any messengers?
No, we just we had received a letter. You had been selected for trial, and in Pios, and we were ecstatic, and we assumed that's where you had left off. But it's good to see you back, and it sounds like it went well, and you're going on another trial to see if you can make it into the academy up there.
I think so, possibly. They're not always very clear about what comes next.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do great.
You've always had so much confidence in me and always been so proud of me, but really, I learned so much from you and Mom, so really I have you to thank.
Oh, he starts to, blush. His cheeks begin to match his beard. And he just kind of, just tilts his head to the side a little bit, and he smiles, and he looks back, and he goes, "You, young Jareth, are you accompanying her, or are you going back to whatever you were doing before we found you? How is that arm of yours?"
The arm has been working fantastically. You clearly have a masterwork of a shop here. And yes, I will be accompanying your daughter and doing all that I can to protect her during these trials. And I know that I owe you my life for everything that you've done. I was wondering perhaps if you'd be able to make any modifications either to the prosthetic or perhaps even my weapon here.
I mean, we can certainly try. What are you looking to do?
It's beyond my knowledge as to what you can do. I don't know if you'd be able to perhaps expand the capacity of the potion slots within the arm, add any potential modifications, or if you'd like to even study my weapon and see what you could do with that.
I mean, space is pretty tight in there. I can try to see what I can do. I just want to keep its strength. And he starts just rambling a little bit, and then he kind of goes, "Oh, for your blade. Oh, I've never worked on one of those before. I can certainly try and see what I can do. Maybe anything else for either of you before you go on your trip?"
Only to express my utmost gratitude for everything that your family has provided for me.
Well, you just keep Redwind safe and bring her back in one piece, and we'll call it good.
As far as the modifications, I will be more than happy to pay for them this time.
So he begins to, move up to you pretty quickly after that, and he starts to get a little bit lost in his work. So, we'll do this.
In the meantime, Ryan, Redwind's going to go look for her mom to also say hello to her mom. And
Okay. So, you walk to the back of your shop and you find your mother there, and you begin to chit-chat with her as, Jareth, you begin to have your... the mechanics behind your weapon and your prosthetic arm looked at in depth. So, all right. And as that happens...
Nat 20. The only time I want a GM to roll a nat 20.
That's not always true. And with that, we will go to Riva and Nertho. Riva, you are currently looking for your mother, correct?
Yeah, I would think I would know where she is based off of the sending that I gave her. She said she was going to her spot.
Okay. So,
I'm assuming that's like the spot that her and I would meet.
Yep.
That was kind of like out of the way. And
so you begin to head to your normal place of meeting with your mother, outside, when you could, of the purview of your father and your brother. Keeping that relationship as off to the side and secret as you're able to. You move down to the district directly next to where your family's from, for where Skybound Shipments was operated out of, and where you used to live. You find yourself once again at this familiar park where, tucked in the middle of it, they're little bit off the beaten path through some overgrown shrubs, there was a bench that you and your mother would meet at different times throughout the day. You move with a purpose, more so than you have in the past, heading straight to that location. And as you arrive, going through the bushes, taking as much of a shortcut as you can, you don't see any signs of your mother.
none at all.
Go ahead and make me a perception or investigation check.
Oof.
13.
Send your owl up, my friend.
You look around, looking for the familiar footprints your mother would leave in this spot, coming to and from. And you do see some footprints leading to and from that bench. Go ahead and give me a, I would say, nature or intelligence. Either or.
Okay. Just a straight intelligence
Yep,
check.
intelligence. "21. After quickly finding those footprints in the soil leading up to this, looking a little bit closer and brushing some leaves off to the side, you do notice that those same footprints that are coming here, although they are leaving here as well, it's almost in a hurried fashion where the footprint is almost extended a little bit as if someone was being dragged away.
Okay. Well, it would seem that the speaker probably already has the mom in hand.
I
He
would
did
like
say,
to start looking around to see if I could see anything.
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation or perception check.
Okay.
Looking about as carefully as you can in the space, despite Riva's intent, his attention to those footprints and that motion of someone being dragged away, you also notice that immediately. But something else catches your eye. It looks as if the shrubs kind of on the back side of this are disturbed, not in a way that anyone who isn't as trained and attuned to nature as you are would be able to spot out, but you see where it looks like almost these disturbed slits in the bush where it looks as though someone had exited out of there. And you notice something else that Riva had actually kind of missed with those footprints coming in and out. You see larger sets of footprints on the back half of this, kind of the back end of this area, where there are these more heavied footprints that look as though they have been attempted to be covered up, are moving towards that direction, but they slowly fade as they approach where those daintier footprints of what would appear to be Riva's mother would have been.
I would point that out. It looks like she was ambushed. Which,
well, I think, the speaker did say that she'd be taken care of, and I mean, if he was rounding up my dad, it's highly likely, even though I told her to get out and get away in distance, that she had been rounded up as well. I'm assuming that they had gone after Haldir, and he had managed to completely get away, obviously, by our task at hand. Unfortunately, right now, there's nothing I can do to contact her. I mean, we can I can't I mean, the speaker said should be taken care of. I have to believe that he
The
meant it.
operative word I heard in taken care of was taken when you said that.
Hey, you're not here. I didn't say nothing when Redwin was lying her ass off to her parents.
That's just my thought.
You're not here. Go talk to that lying Redwin about her stuff. God damn it.
Real aggressive in here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
My mom is missing. What do you want me to do?
It's fair. It's fair. All right. So
Reva's not freaking out about mom not being here. Like, it's not like, obviously, she was taken, but there's like reasons to believe why and how she was taken. I mean, I can go take a closer look at the bushes that Neritho pointed out.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
13's tonight. That's
Apart-
it. It's
Apart, what Neritho was able to point out to you, nothing else sticks out.
Yep. I'm about ready to go get some real dice and just tell you what they say.
The Arby's dice. They have the meat.
Oh, God. So, all right. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I think I'd like to try to make my way back to the family estate, even though technically it's not the family's estate anymore.
Sure.
I don't know why I always thought your family was on like some distant island instead of in Picos.
What distant island?
Yeah, exactly.
Funny. All right. So, Riva and Neritho, you travel through the streets to the wealthier part of the shipping district here. Moving through the main gate, you see what appears to be a very simple stone wood building in front of you. It doesn't appear grandiose from the outside. In fact, it's orderly. It's clean. Its aesthetics are pleasing. Green wooden trim in the shapes of leaves comes up, adorning the frames of the doors and the windows. But you do see at the top of the building from the outside looking forward what appears to be almost a half, it's a domed mirrored structure atop of it, which Riva you recognize as where the lounge where your father used to take the most important of guests to entertain and to conduct business with. The gate is open and two guards stand in front of there. Both of them seem to recognize you, Riva, and they kind of nod and they open those doors and they let you inside. You begin to move up to the same familiar steps that you have not walked in nearly 2 decades. Coming up, the vegetation here again, it's been very well kept and orderly and proper, as though your father was just waiting to find a servant who had not, trimmed a hedge correctly to yell at them, to find a reason to not pay them, wanting perfection and order at all times. You move up to the large 2 wooden double doors, and You begin to open them, pushing it back. Where once a receptionist would have been here to greet you in this opening area, comfortable couches lining the space, it's empty. There is no one here. In fact, you can't even hear that hustle and bustle of the workers in the buildings and space beyond. The stairs leading up to that lounge and office, as it were, that your father so much loved to spend his time ensuring business was going smoothly and profits were on the rise. That normal rope that barred entry when it was occupied has been ripped off the banister, dangling on the ground. You can see the muddied footprints of many, many individuals moving upwards and upwards into the building, almost ignoring everything else, because other than to berate and belittle people, why would your father go there? Yes, the workers made him money, but he was above that. That's what his managers were for. Do you wish to go into the warehouses or continue upward?
I think continuing upward, like to check out my father's office. I mean, it's probably, like I said, it's been gone through by people, but it's a possibility that they missed.
Yep. So you and Nertho, well, you lead and Nertho in tow, begin to walk up these beautiful wooden staircase. The carpet that aligns the center of it, this rich green, almost silk-like material. It has this beautiful satin sheen. The railings that lead you up are elegant in design, a mix between metal and wood. Just these ornate designs of leaves just moving upwards. Excuse me. You begin to travel for just a few minutes, as it's not much of a jaunt to the top, and you reach the same familiar, lavishly adorned office, entertaining space that your father had brought so many people here. And you come upon the grandiose and beautifulness of it. The bar stools remain in their normal resting place. It looks pristine, apart from where you can clearly see a bottle of some brackish liquor knocked over, spilled across the bar top, and those muddied feet moving towards behind the bar, where your father was often found to be pouring a drink throughout the day. And amongst those footprints, you can see just these cutting lines through it, where you can almost make out where you can imagine that he was digging his heels and resisting as he was dragged away, questioning and judging all the individuals here, these guards who had tried to bring him to justice. You can just imagine him sitting there just going, "Get your hands off me," and just berating them. And as much as that memory and that imagination that runs wild from you of seeing that, it's painful, but there's almost a relief in such a way, as even though he was your father and he did not treat you well throughout the years, he wasn't a great man, he wasn't a kind man, but he's gone. But this space is empty, and he will never be here again. What would you like to do?
I would assume, and it's not something that we have actually discussed outside the game, but I'm assuming that he would have some secret compartments somewhere.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check at advantage. You are familiar with this space.
Yeah.
from years ago. In fact, a memory sparks from a long time ago when you were almost hiding underneath the bar behind a curtain where the garbage would lie. And you remember your father putting his hand under a drawer farther back than anything reasonable should be. And you begin to do that same motion. You move your hand to that position and start to feel around, and you feel a button. And you push it. And this drawer face scoots forward a little bit. And then where you would assume a small, piece of wood with a like a false bottom would come out, the whole drawer extends unnaturally long, and looking in there, you see a significant amount of coin and gems.
Loot.
This is
Yeah.
clearly where he would pull funds out to encourage others to do what he needed them to. This is effectively his pot of money he would use to bribe people.
Well, I look at Nathan. Well, I don't think he'll be needing this anymore.
So,
Well, but obviously we should report it to the nearest.
Well, we do find ourselves with the need for this.
I have adjusted your income to find for what you found. You found 200 platinum pieces.
Jesus.
There we go.
Yacht money.
Yacht money indeed. So,
Riva's the bankroll.
That means I got 220 platinum.
yep.
Can I also say that image that you pulled up needs to be a steampunk bar somewhere?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Get at it. No. So,
Yeah.
other than that, sifting through the large amount of platinum coin, you don't seem to find anything else of notice, but you also don't find anything else searching through the space. There's plenty and plenty of quality liquors and wines and anything that you can imagine that's just sitting there.
Any paperwork?
I am gonna pull down the most expensive looking bottle I can find.
Just
Pop it
one?
open. Well, and open it and pour 2 glasses and give one to Riva while we look around.
So as
Right.
you're looking around Riva, you don't seem to find any paperwork. In fact, the desk that sits off behind the corner of the bar where he's normally working on things seems to be empty. And in fact, it looks raided. The drawers, you open
Yeah,
them one at
it's-
a time, and there's nothing there.
That's what I figured would be the case. With if they had come here, I'm assuming that they would have also taken any notable documents or.
Yep. And Nertho, you pull out this fancy bottle. It's actually shaped like a teardrop, and it has this brown, brackish liquor. You pop it and just take a whiff and grab 2 fancy glasses, and it reminds you of a strong bourbon mixed with, it almost has a hint of of cherries. And you pour yourself a glass, and you pour Riva a glass about halfway full. Would you like to drink?
Yeah.
And cheers him.
The flavor hits you immediately. It is strong but smooth. You get a little bit of that initial burn, and it just as it coats your throat and you begin to taste the flavors, you get that smokiness, that hint of
So it's like a good Islay.
It's like a good Islay. Think of like a nice Cabernet cask bourbon. Just you get almost those fruity wine aftertastes in it, and it is smooth. And Neritho, this is the best stuff you have ever had in your life.
Yep.
Ryan, are you inspired by drinking your whiskey?
I'm always inspired by drinking whiskey. I need to get more
cork
inspired
it,
here
and
in a
I
little
just
bit.
I imagine it's kind of like a Bunalban 8 scene.
Better.
cork it, slip it in my the rest in my backpack.
All
Grab
right,
it.
all right, a Bunalban 25, which I have had the pleasure of having one time.
Oh, sure.
Grab about 4 more bottles at random. Just shove them in there.
Perfect. Just add 5 bottles of fancy bourbon to your bag. So, is there anything else you do?
Another 10 platinum.
Yeah, I gotta go raid my brother's office/room
Okay.
and see if there's anything that the authorities missed.
So you make your way back downstairs and go off to the left path from the entrance towards more of the warehouse, more of the storage space in there. And the first thing upon going through those set of doors is your brother's office to the left. And you immediately swing it wide and open, and everything is turned over. The desk drawers are on the ground. The lamp that he had in here is just shattered on the ground. In fact, the bed sheets are even missing. The mattress cut in multiple places and rifled through. This room has been ransacked.
Well, I mean, no, that makes sense. He's a wanted man. I think then I would walk towards what I'm going to assume, going on a limb here, and say would have been my sister's in my room.
Sure. As you approach your sister's room, you hesitate for a moment, as it's part of the reason why you haven't been here in so long. But you push through those painful memories and you open the door, almost expecting it to be locked as if to preserve a memory. And it's empty. There is nothing left in this space.
If the bastard wasn't already dead, I'd kill him myself.
Well, your brother's still out there, and he seems close enough.
Hey, things to look forward to.
So, you take it in once more, the sight before you, that emptiness, and that emptiness of that room striking a chord with yourself as
Yep.
That-
It echoes the emptiness I
Yeah.
feel from her death so
from
long
her
ago.
death and just no longer a part of your life. And you take a moment. You go to the next room. Your room. And you open it. It is full of brooms, mops, cleaning supplies.
Bric-a-brac.
It was converted into a space to grab stuff you needed to keep the place pristine and clean. And otherwise, nothing that you had here before remains.
Yep.
So, with that, Gorwin, you are headed back down to the Fakes, to your family. So, Gorwin, going through a different path than you have been with the group before you were captured through the warehouse district. Ignoring the tavern that would also lead you to the top side, you go down a hidden route. One created by your family and its associates. You feel a sense of welcome here. This is your home. But in that, you make haste back to your family's bar, tavern, place of rest, the Limping Lord. You open a familiar door, and you see, as you would expect, your father behind the bar, cleaning a glass, smiling, just enjoying himself, welcoming those who'd come in. And he sees you and his eyes light up and he goes, "Gorwin, I'm glad you're back. How'd it go? Are you done?"
Well, done wouldn't be the best of words. On our way, we had been captured by some people and put on trial through the speaker.
Wait. He looks around and just confirming once again that there's no patrons in this space, and leans in and goes, "Do they know?"
They don't know. They don't know much.
That's not good. Even if they do know some. We weren't compromised, were we?
No, but the tavern's still safe.
The tavern stands, but I'm just glad that you're safe.
Yeah, but to provide the safety of Jareth, we are to be sent out to hunt down one of our group's own brother and return him.
Sent out to where? To topside?
We have no clue. We just know he took a boat and hightailed it.
And an airship? You're leaving the city to the wilds?
Yep. It's part of the return was to say goodbye to you and Mom and see if you guys had any last requests or anything you wanted to give me before I left.
This is sudden. When do you leave?
We are not completely sure yet, but it sounds like it will be relatively soon.
Well, he thinks for a moment, and he kind of locks eyes with yours, and listen. I'm gonna go make a request from the Saltatore and Umbra, if on your behalf. I know nothing about the outside world, and nor does your mother. He would be the only one. Before I do so, you've kept the tenants?
Yep. Yes, I have.
Good. Well, I must prepare, so... Your friend's topside, where can I find him? And find you?
Well, we are to leave on a ship, an airship, soon. We weren't given, well, I wasn't given the exact location, but I will be meeting up with Jareth there, assumedly. Then I would just scribble down the address and then hand that to him.
He grabs the piece of paper from you. For ease of everyone's sanity, you would have kind of given a general place to meet up, and he goes, well, I will, if all things go well, I'll be there tomorrow. Or if you don't see me, just, I'll have something for you. Check your pack, and it'll be there. For it's best to not be seen in these times, especially based on what you've said. So, but in the meantime, and he reaches behind the counter, and you hear a faint clicking sound, and he pulls out a bag and hands it forward to you and goes, it's a contingency, but it'll get you far. Good luck.
Thanks,
Kind of
Dad.
gives you a big hug and calls for your mother, and she comes and kind of gives her that look as though he's got something important to do, and she nods in understanding as he's gonna go make that request. And she kind of leans in and gives you a hug as well, and kisses you on the cheek and wishes you luck, and begins to manage the front of the bar.
Then, before I leave, I take off, because I know I wear multiple, take off one of the bracelets that I wear and hand it to her, promising that I will return safe and sound.
She gives you a knowing nod, as it's not something you would do given your craft and your calling. She lets out a smile, but there's a sadness to her. And as you leave, and you begin to make your way back to the meeting point topside. If you look in your inventory, I've added 250 gold. So, with that, we convene the next day at the place of meeting, at the docks of Picos. Everyone finishing their errands, purchasing what they need to purchase in the meantime. So what I will say is we're going to take a quick 5 to 10 minutes. I really need to use the restroom. If there's any items that you need to buy or purchase, we can go ahead and do that right after this. Jareth, your prosthetic arm is now able to infuse 2 potions.
Dope.
Met the bare minimum DC. You're lucky. And Redwind, you are given a gift from your mother as you spend a little bit of that time talking with her, kind of beating around the bush and not telling the whole truth, but letting her know it's a little more dangerous than not. And I'm going to add one thing to your inventory.
Ryan, was there any cost associated to that?
Nope, it's free.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want to know what she's getting in her inventory.
So, it was just added. And with that, I will be right back.
What'd you get?
We don't have to worry about armor, guys.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Nice.
As we're having these conversations on the side. Good.
Very nice.
With that
Alright.
cackle, I was like, my mind went as dark as it could have gone. Redwind, here's the family dildo.
No, I'm sitting here talking to her about, like, yeah, we have enough money to do plate if needed. Or, splint is still a 17. But if we don't have to worry about that, then we've got money for other...
We talked about Splint a session or two ago, and she was like, yeah, no, for what she wants to do, plate is necessary.
It's the best, yeah, but like if I didn't have the money or the time, because like I could technically make it, but it would take like weeks.
Yeah.
Then I would probably just try to do the next best thing, but every little bit helps, even if it's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, because that's it, because I've got basically 2,700 gold.
Noise.
And plate would eat up half of that.
Mm-hmm.
A little over half of that.
And we should all have around 750-ish.
Well, how much gold do you actually have? I don't...
710 and then 40 platinum.
How do you have so much gold?
What do you mean, how do I have so much?
Got the lead chest and all that stuff.
Yeah, remember, I wasn't there for the rest of that session.
Oh, I got the gift from Captain Adelum and everyone, too.
Ah, yeah.
I hadn't spent, or had not spent any of that other than like 40 or 50.
Because I know at one point in time, I was Mr. Moneybags with 200 gold.
Yeah.
Nobody else had anything. And now I have 500 gold. And then I just found the 200, platinum pieces worth of stuff.
Oh no, I had like 2 or 250, after only buying splint armor.
This-
And then I got another 20-ish off of Gorwin's dad from gambling. And then after we all hit level 5, we got that nice gift of like 500-ish plus the platinum.
I didn't get that.
You should have.
I
Is-
have about 300 gold pieces I got
Yeah,
from
I didn't-
somewhere.
You should talk to Ryan and see what we got, because as soon as we hit level 5, he said as a marker for hitting level 5, you also get, what was it, 40 platinum and like 400 or 500 gold or something like that?
Yeah, I never. That must have been when I was like, I got to leave early, guys. Sorry, I can't
Oh.
stay anymore.
Yeah, you should message Ryan. Because we all got a sizable chunk just for hitting level 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's when I was like, just doing my quick level up and jumping off while you guys continue to explore.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hit him up and say how much we all got for that, because it was a hefty chunk.
All right, I am back.
Yeah, good. Question for you. When you gave everybody gold at level 5, what did you give them? Because I never got that.
From
Hitting level 5. That was when I had to bow out early.
Oh, that was.
I don't know.
Let me look in my pages. Oh, notes. Oh, it was 1,500 gold split between everyone.
Yeah, I thought you divided.
I did
No.
divide it. I did divide
Yeah.
that between everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all divided.
Yeah,
Was it? Okay.
I don't think it was quite as much as he thought it was, but
No. It was not a crazy amount. Yep. Okay. So, with that, I am going to snag Nertho. We're going to go down
Okay.
to private chat for a second.
alrighty.
Welcome.
Welcome or hello.
Hello. So, Nertho. In the night, resting at a local inn, finding. One second, I gotta shut the door. Sorry about that. So, resting throughout the night, sleep finding you, doing what you can to console Riva and just be that supportive individual for him that you always have been. You eventually find your way drifting into sleep. And once again, you see that image. That image of the great tree just standing there, waiting. And the picture becomes more clear than it had last time. You see these mountain ranges off in the backdrop. And you see a figure this time. This individual made of what appears to be straw and twig and vegetation of all sorts of colors. And he just looks over at you and smiles and just and then looks at you and nods
He was pointing at the tree.
at the tree, and he begins to walk towards it, and you almost hear, it's not words, it's a feeling. This emotion, this warm emotion comes over you, this feeling of home. It's that feeling you've forgotten about, of what it was like when your parents would talk to you of the great tree and becoming whole and the land and what it once was. But as you begin to walk towards this individual, this being, you start to wake up. Wake up you do into the tavern, this inn. Riva snoring a little bit, but thinking upon what has transpired and once again solidifying in your mind that there is something drawing you towards that tree in those mountains south of here. And now you may have a way to get there, to find a clue about your parents, about your family, about what has happened in the wastes. And you feel this pull, this tugging of your essence heading that way. With that, we'll head back up. Alright, everyone gains the benefits of a long rest.
Woohoo!
Ryan, before we head out, do we get to see the provisions provided before we decide whether or not to go shopping? Just for sake of time.
Yeah, so you all meet at the docks where Riva had said the day before, if there's anywhere to meet where we will find my family's ship, it will be at the docks. So with that, you meet up at the head of the port, and you begin to kind of look around, and Riva, you've been here before, many a time.
Oh yeah.
You walk up, pretty confidently, pretty in the know, and you walk up to the harbor master, and it's this stout dwarf fellow who's counting his ledger, going through some books, and he looks up once you get them and goes, "Could I help you?"
Oh, I'm just here to take stock and inventory of my ship.
You got your papers?
Right here.
All right, let me see. Well, begins to read over them. All looks pretty good. So you'll catch her off the back side, straight down fourth bay on the left. He'll show you. He goes, "Little one." And this younger dwarven comes up and he goes, "Show him to this ship, bay 4 down. You know where it's at. The new one. That fancy fucking thing." And he begins to lead you, this younger gentleman begins to lead you down through the long hallways, these mighty air docks just suspended, and these airships moored currently, tied down. You pass a couple of larger cargo ships, and these things are massive. They're quite large, and you go past the first one, the second, the third, finally reaching the bay where your ship is docked. And there you see your family's luxury ship. Though it looks a little bit different than it did before. It has a fresh coat of paint, and it's got 2 harpoon guns mounted on the sides.
Beautiful.
And it looks as though she's been upgraded. You see this glowing purple energy coming off of the backside where it's almost doubled in size. She looks quick. And more armor than you remember.
Literally, the first thing I was going to say was if the quartermaster's at hand and there wasn't harpoon guns on it, that I was going to need to outfit it with harpoon guns. It was literally the first thing I was going to say, and then I'm just like, I'm going to let him speak first.
Where are the guns?
So,
What is it you said to the guard? You need to check what?
His third sweep. Because his had sweeps.
Yep. And she is immaculate and well kept. And it's yours. This is now your ship. So, if you look on the character tab, on the actors tab, you should see a new one in there called vehicles.
Yep.
Where your ship is under air vehicles. All of you should be able to see this. It's stat blocks, it's cargo and crew. I have left it unnamed as it is yours to name.
Been thinking. I got a couple ideas.
What's your sister's name?
The ship's name is Sana's Favor.
Okay. All right.
Now to discuss who's the captain.
It's now discussing it.
Nartho stands up to his full height behind Riva when he hears that.
Okay. Out of the lot of you, who's ever captained an airship before? Go ahead, I'll wait. Oh, just me.
Oh, captain, my captain.
That's okay. I'll be busy tinkering with it and tearing it apart.
How about no? Well, the looks of it, she's already been tinkered with.
Quite a bit. Also, if you go into the journal tab, there will be under player handouts an airship. And in that, replacing its old name as the Jewel of Thardul, it is now known as Sana's Favor.
It's pretty.
It is.
Riva, can we call you Sid now?
So, with that, going about looking on its stores and stock, you notice it has about 30 days of supplies aboard the ship.
Is that them telling us, like, they want us back with your brother in 30 days?
No, it's just probably what it carries.
Or what they felt like spending.
I feel like that's probably not an issue for them, but you might be right.
Any additional equipment or anything like that? Potions and such?
No, other than that, it also has, as you look, It has 80 harpoons. So,
Well, Reva, what do you think?
It has what?
it has
80 harpoons.
80 harpoons.
Perfect.
Because, as you know, Riva, even though traveling the skies around here is relatively safe, it can get dangerous in a heartbeat.
How many ballista bolts?
There's also an additional 80 ballista.
Okay. For the fire ballista.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Not to fire the ballista, but for the fire ballista.
No, to fire from the ballista.
Okay. I was like, oh, I like that.
Doesn't mean you can't attempt to tinker in the middle of the sky.
Hey, we got an artificer. If we can't make fire bolts, then
Yep.
So,
Try.
and you are also provided something else. Upon moving and inspecting to the captain's quarters, you see something new in there. Amongst the table, where normally it would just be a map of the docks between Picos and Pios, there's something different. There's now a map, a note of what is currently known of Taurinia, which will now appear at the top of your bar.
Okay.
Okay, are we all in there, or is it just...
Nope, you're all going through it together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Ooh. So, once I spy this map, I'm actually going to take out my map and compare it. But this is pretty much the same thing, except in a larger version, Ryan, that I can actually read most of it.
Ryan, Australia is missing a southeastern quadrant.
don't tell
Insane.
anyone.
and then,
Oh, no wonder you know when it goes down to the surface. Everything down there kill you.
Also, what is Italy doing down there?
There's fucking emus down there.
Oh, God.
So, Nertho, as you once again see this top-down, more readily displayed version of the landscape around you, you do recognize these mountain peaks over here.
let's see.
Iron Peaks.
And I'll just look at over at Riva, and I'll just tap my finger down on those peaks
Okay.
and say, I think I'm gonna have to go there sooner rather than later. It calls me.
Okay. Like, I mean, we've got this business with tracking Haldir down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Which,
is it...
no, business takes priority, but
Okay. Oh, I got you.
it continues to call me. And it may get impatient.
Fair enough.
Can we do a fast potion shopping?
He told
Sure.
you to do your shopping before, when he was gone on break.
Oh, I thought he meant we'd do it when we got back.
No, yeah. No, go. You can purchase anything that's a standard item purchase within the player's handbook at value.
I'll say how many are available.
On
And
the
then
top
cost.
side of Picos, it's not really hard to find that stuff around here. A basic healing potion here and there, pretty easy to come across.
What about A, thieves' tools?
You
And
can clump them
B,
together.
yeah, like gold piece incense for, what do you call it? Or gold piece valued incense for components.
Easy enough.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can I roll a persuasion for a discount of 5?
Dude.
How are you trying to convince a shopkeep that you should get a discount?
Assuming that they don't know my back history. Oh god, I guess this would probably sway more towards deception. But by saying that this is for the guard.
Yeah, go ahead and make a deception check.
Oh, you dishonest fucker. That's not the
Yeah.
Jareth I. That's not the Jareth I know.
Circumstances have rubbed off on him.
Normal?
At normal.
Oh wait, I already had it.
At normal. Oh!
Oh,
Alright, so I'll take them at full price.
So the shopkeep looks at you and goes, so I'm assuming you'll be putting this on the Quasitor's account, and do you have that identification on you?
Do I?
Nope. Sir, your identification?
Alright, so 710 minus 250.
You just kind of like hand him the money, like, yep, don't worry about it. So,
Herp
Alright.
a derp.
anything else anyone would like to purchase before we head out?
I can take care of any basic stuff
Okay.
after session.
I shall
Is that-
check my bag.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to look through, like, the spell list
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah. Whatever you need to purchase.
There was something
So, and if you miss something in the meantime, don't worry about it. We can always retcon that. I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
So, supplies acquired. An airship now gained. Where would you all like to travel to?
Yeah, where do we start? Reva, do you have any idea where we should begin looking?
No. I don't. I don't like even the player Sean is going. I've been thinking about that question. You know.
I mean, is there any disreputable cities or outposts that he could possibly
Go ahead
restock
and
where they
make me a
went?
history check.
Oh, could this be a thing where I could use ear to the ground?
You could.
Quite literally, ear to the
Mhm.
ground?
I mean, can I make that history check as well?
Yeah, go for it.
Where's my feet? Feet.
Womp womp.
So, okay.
I mean, ear to the ground being a feat, it's just a thing where I would know somebody. So, not having been to the physical ground, could that be like an advantage to a history or insight or something check?
I will say, yeah, go ahead and make a history at advantage.
Okay.
And all of your journal tab that is Taurinia is nice.
Oh, first one in like 3 sessions.
So, point of order. A few things pop to mind as you spend your time reaching out to a few of the different other guards and informants that you have worked with for a while. Actually, go ahead and give me a persuasion check as well at advantage.
Okay. Pull up my character sheet again. Oh, thank God.
21. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the one question I have is, should I attune to that mouthpiece?
If you want to.
Do I have a choice?
That's up to you. You always have a choice. It's your choice. While you decide.
Yeah.
One weird component, a gilded acorn worth 200 gold pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think I'm gonna go have a private conversation with Mason.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Go ahead.
do I need to hop in, or?
Yeah, hop down to the private channel.
Perfect. While they do that, Jareth, you know not of anything necessarily nefarious, but you do know of a couple places that are of note. You have heard that Mulai Cargo is a recent excavation site and is known as the only other initial surviving city of the Calamity that is on the surface. The only one. It is heavily protected, well guarded, and is used as a place for mining resources for the cities. You also know that the only surviving port town in the area, and Redwin, you have also heard of this place as well, is Nanaika. It is a port town to the west over here. It is actually how fish and things of the ocean from the great Oceanus make its way to Picos and Pios.
Which one was that? Or how did you say that?
Nanaika. It's where what are known as the Emissa gather for their expeditions. Those are the wanderers, the adventurers who are seeking the riches of the land. And this is only a recently new thing in the last couple years. You did roll an at 20. And you've also heard of a rumor that there is something odd that looks full of life beginning to sometimes peek up through the Iron Peaks to the south.
And we're back.
So, and that is what has been a rumor going around, and that is a very, the least believable of them, but you've heard rumor of some type of large vegetation peering through, at times, through the Iron Peaks.
Naruto, did you mention that you'd need to go to the Iron Peaks at some point out loud, or was that privately?
I mean, I said all that out loud and tapped on the map, so yeah, it would have been obvious to anyone paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so Jareth would make that known. It would make all of it known, but Riva and Naruto,
you're gonna have to literally repeat it to us.
Yeah,
Jareth.
I was gonna say what you two missed out on, what you caught the tail end of. I got 3 leads. The last one was the least reliable, which is a rumor that something of organic nature peeks out from time to time from the Iron Peaks to the south. If we were to go to...
Was it a man made of sticks and brambles?
Yeah, right. The bees! If we were to go to Mulai Cargo to the east, it's the only known surviving city after the calamity. Very heavily guarded. Certainly a mining resource city. I would assume that it's highly unlikely that your brother would go to one of the known, or the only known associating city with Picos. That's, again, heavily guarded. To the west is Nunayaka. It's where all of the fish and oceanic resources come from. And it's where adventurers are known to come and go for exploring the surface world. Likely our best bet for tracking down your brother.
Yeah, it'd be a spot where he could go and try to blend in.
Yep.
Also, you do know that the routes between Picos and Pios to Nanaika are guarded by a lot of the military ships, because again, it is one of these, as well as the trade route between Picos and Pios to Moikago. But as apart from that, from what you do know and speaking to all your informants, putting your ear to the ground, most things aren't guarded outside of the immediate reach of the city, traveling anywhere but those two locations.
Can I make an insight check? I'm assuming it'd be insight on what I think my brother would do.
Yeah, go. I would. Yeah, go ahead and make me an insight check. Yeah, I would say that's appropriate.
Not tonight, boys. Better hope we get to combat. I'll start rolling 20s.
So what you do remember from your brother is
he's a douchebag and hocked a loogie at me one time.
What a giant asshole. No. He's the type of fellow that would avoid, if he were in trouble, he would avoid major thoroughfare, avoid major places, and go to somewhere where he thought he could lay low and be safe for a while. So you wouldn't be able to necessarily pinpoint where he would be able to go, but based on the assumption that
he didn't go east, he didn't go west, he probably went south.
South or north. He wouldn't have gone to any one of those major two places. And that's kind of based on your assumption that he's involved in whatever this is.
Ryan.
Yep.
Can I ask, would Jareth or any of us know how long it would take to traverse certain areas of this continent? Like, could you make it to the Iron Peaks in a day or two?
No. So it is, for your reference, it's about a week's travel by, well, again, you rolled an at 20. It is about a week's travel unimpeded between either of those two cities.
Okay, so we're going on 2+ weeks to the Iron Peaks.
What's this?
What is what? That is, from what you can tell, it's a little hard to make out. It's some type of river that runs from this inlet to these mountain peaks.
Okay.
So at this point, we can take a blind shot at to where he may or may not be going, to somewhere that may or not be inhabited or hostile.
Do we... So we're assuming he left on a ship, obviously, to escape the floating cities. Do we have an idea of the name
Yeah,
of the
which-
ship?
Well, yeah. Hold on. They saw him leaving. What direction did they see him leaving? I guess. I mean, I know you can change direction, but that might give us.
He was initially heading out. I'll tell you what. Go ahead, and I will say make me a investigation check. And I will say you all were kind of collectively doing this before, because it's something you would have done. Go ahead and make me an investigation check where I was leading that at advantage.
Okay, that'd be me.
Bum,
There
bum,
we go.
bum.
There it is.
He was heading west, but as the image of his ship faded, it started to take a sharp turn to the south.
Okay.
And he only left a day ago, from
Okay, so
what
like,
you can tell.
so he was
And-
headed this way, and then he turned this way.
And Gorwin, check your inventory.
What's your brother's name again?
Haldir. What do we know about Casmus?
Go ahead, make me a history check.
Back up my character sheet. There we go. Now the rolls are coming.
Can I also roll for that since I have... And
Go ahead. I would say you were active. Your character was actively studying the world, trying to understand it. So I'll wait till Redwin rolls, and we'll go from there. So history check.
Jesus, you got a big bonus on history.
So Redwin and Riva. Casmus is what's known as an old arcane sanctum. It is a place that was one of the early ones to be destroyed in the Calamity. It's in recent times known to be a place where magical energies swarm and surge and cause oddities within the space to occur. It's known for the excuse me. It is known for the Amisa to avoid.
What are the Amisa?
The Amisa are those who have been granted permission, and sometimes those who have not been granted by permission, as those who wander the lands in search for ruins and mystery and things of old.
Oh, one thing that I think Jareth probably would have asked of the speaker before all of this, like, do we have free travel throughout the entire continent? I mean, are we going to be stopped for?
You have
Hitting up.
been, from your conversation, you have been let go to your own devices to hunt down Haldir how you see fit. But you are not given any official paperwork or anything that says you are working for the Oct.
Okay, so the Oct isn't going to stop us, but if we run into someone, that'd be like Border Patrol.
You don't know.
Estamos Mexicana.
Oh, Jesus. So, all right. So-
I mean, with that, I mean, all we can do is head out this way, and
I mean, Ryan had me at Arcane Sanctum,
The one of many
If we're-
places.
searching for someone that might possibly be working with Tyr.
You're muted, Erica.
yeah, I mean, that thought did cross my mind. but at the same time, I don't, you know.
Yeah, it's also a matter of are we charging into a CR20 boss?
But there's also this area.
Well, and if he headed west, then south, there's also that.
Well, he would have
fear-
been like here. If this is like a week to here, he
Well,
would have
and
been just outside of town.
I think also with Riva having the actual like personal connection to this, like deeper than the rest of us have. I mean, obviously Jareth wants to catch this guy, but with Riva's connection and Riva being the one who's the pilot and the captain, I think Jareth would ask Riva like, what are your intentions? Are we essentially going balls to the wall, chasing this guy at 100 miles an hour, or?
Well, I mean, he's got a day's head start on us.
But again, are we trying to catch him now, like immediately apprehend, or are we trying to take a cautious route on this?
Not necessarily like uber cautious, but like we like. You remember, I'm only used to like traveling between Picos and Pios, delivering goods and whatnot. I've never, you know, like.
Yeah,
my
but again,
own-
there's the emotional connection on your end, especially with knowing that your mother and sister are potentially involved.
No, my sister's dead, dude. My sister's
Oh,
been dead
okay,
for, like
okay.
decades,
How dare you?
decades
No,
and
I'm just
decades.
I kept getting those
Too
mixed
soon,
up.
bro. Too soon,
So as soon
bro.
as you talked about messing with your mother, I was like, I thought your mother was dead, but no.
Make your mother dead.
Ooh.
Joe Brecht is a saint. How dare you?
kidding. Wow. Wow.
But I think this like. I mean, I'm assuming that he took one of our family's regular ships. I mean, I'm assuming that'd be a fairly safe assumption.
Yeah, so he would have taken sorry, Reba. It is, let me pull it up. The Twilight Flower.
Did he take the Twilight Flower? Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance like we leave now and like we head that direction and we catch up to him quickly. He's in a big fucking, you know, air cow. You know. He's like, what would be the like a good car equivalent? Like he's in like a, you know, he's driving a freaking Yugo, and we just got our hands on a, you know, on a freaking Ferrari.
Yep.
What was his ship named again?
The Twilight Flower. It's under air vehicles.
They can't
Okay.
see it. Would you like to
Oh,
describe it?
For that one. Yeah. So the Twilight Flower is a big like. Let me pull up the actual artwork here. So on the top, like it's a big giant like bulbous Zeppelin looking style of, you know, steampunky, connected in the middle with some very delicate wrought iron, and then the like a what looks like an actual like ship attached on the bottom. It doesn't look fast. It looks it's made to carry cargo. Like it's made to get as much profit on a trip as it can get.
So it's like a high render of the Horde Zeppelins.
Like it's well maintained. I want to say that my family did take great care of their equipment. But
Presentation
Built-
is everything with your dad.
built for speed, it was not.
Well, I guess Jareth's question for the party is, how do we want to approach this? Do we want to straight up apprehend him? And
Well, I mean, that's our
essentially
charge.
try raining down fire, or do we want to...
So, my initial question, real quick: are you going to be heading in what direction?
I mean, I guess
Captain?
In the direction that my brother was last seen heading.
So, you begin to make your way south, charting out how you will handle this situation. So, while you do this, can I have someone roll me a d20?
I'll say
Anybody
this
on me?
too. We need to think about
Nathan, you
preparation.
haven't had a lot of chance to roll tonight. You want to roll a d20?
Sure.
Ah,
A 19. The wind is favorable, and as you travel south, you travel faster than anticipated. Wherever you decide to go in your southern direction, you move twice the speed you normally would for that day. So,
Nice.
instead of making it to here on day one, you're going to make it to about here on day one. And is anyone actively looking across the bow or the port side to try and see anything?
I'm assuming that we would have some sort of
absolutely.
spy glasses.
Yeah,
and
there's a couple spy glasses. They are very fancy here.
that would be
Sounds
Nertho.
like a good job for me. Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Nertho, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Cool. I lost my character sheet.
Jareth is certainly just mesmerized, staring at the ground below.
Yeah.
Perception.
I'll cast guidance on you too as I try to, I guess, help keep an eye out. I don't know. That's how that would work.
Riva passes out goggles to those who are not used to air travel. These help.
So,
What's okay? You've got goggles and night vision.
The goggles.
Nope.
They do
Finally.
something. Your
That would be the guidance roll there.
Yep. Looking around, you don't seem to see anything of the twilight flower, but you do start to see those peaks from here come closer and closer. Like I said, your day is unhindered, and you traveled twice as fast as you anticipated. During that day, other than travel, you're heading southward as you figure out where you want to go. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss or do?
Well, I think so. Knowing that we were traveling as fast, Riva would assume that we've gained at least half a day on him, and that he should only be a
Same for
half.
him too, right?
Not necessarily.
Is the ground pretty nondescript, Ryan?
Go ahead and
You
make a
would
perception
notice
check.
that there's stuff down there?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Can I join in on that?
Yeah, go ahead and make one as well.
Is that a pink monorail?
Redwin, looking through your spyglass, it's hard to make out some of the shapes and the landscape below. At best, it is nothing but desert wasteland. Jareth, looking below, trying to get a better view of what actually is down there, as you've never done this before in your life. It is a desolate wasteland of sand and bones and rocky features. Every now and then you swear you see the ground below just shift for a moment and then go still. And it is not a pleasant looking place. It reeks of danger. And Redwin, you also are able to, for but a moment, see that sand shift. There is potentially something monstrous in size down there.
glad we're on an airship.
It's desolate wasteland as far as the eye can see, and there is no
Is there any
wonder
scent of
no one
cinnamon or
survives.
spice?
And nothing nice.
Dune.
With that, you continue to head south, figuring out your course of action. Now, who is manning the ship overnight?
Well,
I
that's yeah. We'll have to take. I have to show. I would have to take time showing somebody like how to do it, and then we'd have to take turns.
It may be a little more complicated than I can do while trancing. So, yeah.
Riva, you're part elf. You require less sleep than everyone else.
You still can't, do complicated
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
I'll volunteer as tribute because I'm very
Yeah,
interested
I
in the ship
think. I
itself.
think. Yeah, that I was just gonna say like, Redwin would probably be the one that.
Now, I will be on deck as the captain's eyes. And
But yeah, but I still require a long rest.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm
and
not
not just
just for
because-
Jason. I'm a half elf.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
So, who is taking the first watch? You can do a minimum of 3, and as many after that as you want.
I think Riva would take the first.
Okay. Riva, go ahead and give me a perception check. Do you have dark vision?
I do.
At normal. All right, go ahead and give me a perception check.
There's them. Low rolls again. Either
Looking
high or
over-
low, take your pick.
Looking around at the night sky and looking in at the night sky, nothing seems to catch your eye. Who is taking the second watch?
I can.
All right, Gorwin. So first off, I am actually going to need a separate check from you because you are not as familiar with a construct of this time. Can I get a... one second. Can I go ahead and get a... I have to find it again. Can I get a vehicle proficiency check? So go ahead and roll a d20 plus your dexterity modifier. Because none of you are properly trained, apart from Riva, how to handle an airship.
So you want us all to make this check?
Right, just Gorwin right now. 'Cause
Okay.
He is the only one operating the ship.
So, because I don't figure
Ooh.
All
And I'll-
right.
there's 4 added to that.
23. You begin to understand the inner workings of how to fly an airship with but a brief instruction from Riva. Also, I would like you to make a perception check as well. So, Gorwin, through the night, on your second shift, you hear a creaking sound as in the center of the ship there is a cargo hold. So 1 second. The cargo hold begins to open up, and you swear for but a moment you can see a bit of light shining out. And you begin to see a figure emerging from below that you had all missed during your what you thought was a thorough inspection of the shift. And with that, Nick, could you please describe your character to the group?
Yeah, so you turn to the cargo hold and you see a slim, athletic figure. He's clad in leather armor with ornate but still functional burnished silver bits, the basket hilt of a rapier at his side, a shield on his back, a pair of burnished red eyes. His moderate height is somewhat enhanced by a pair of horns and a cap with goggles pushed up upon it. And he kind of makes an affectation of leaning very casually on the side of the door frame as he takes in the scene around him and just goes, "Oh, new management. Interesting."
So Gorwin, this figure emerges. What do you do?
Well, kind of in a startled fit, I reveal the blade from my sleeve, basically aiming it at him and just shouting, "Hey, state your name and business here."
Oh dear. Well, Volderm Efrat, as he holds up his hands cautiously, and I suppose my current business is stowaway, if I had to sum it up. And to whom am I speaking?
Well, the name's Gorwin. I notice his hands are up, and I just casually start tucking the blade away, not completely, but enough to basically say, "Alright, I'll back off a little bit." And I just yell, "Yeah, name's Gorwin. And yeah, probably should come above so we can, well, at least myself for the time being, keep an eye on you."
All right.
Gorwin, are you hollering quite loudly?
Uh,
Or are you trying to stay casual?
Kinda
Okay.
loud, like enough to make, like, so I know that he hears me, but like also kinda still trying to be considerate of everyone else trying to sleep.
Okay. All right. Cool. So it's just the two of you. All right. Continue.
So, new campaign. Who dis? Who am I looking at? What's the scene here?
New campaign, who dis? Love that.
So currently, you find yourself above
Rick and roll.
above an airship, not unfamiliar to you. It's the one you stowed away on. You know it as the Jewel of Thardul. However, through your stowaway and listenings in, you kind of get the idea that they've renamed it. You're not quite sure, or it was a little muffled, but you do see a gentleman in front of you who's, again, identified himself as Gorwin. Gorwin, go ahead and describe your character to Volderm.
Well, standing before you is, well, at least what looks to be like a younger half-elf. Maybe if you were to guess yourself, just solely based on what you see, maybe early 30s, late 20s, nice blonde hair, like physical, like looks pretty fit, but he's also kind of bedazzled, wearing like bracelets and leg bands. You notice he carries like a rapier like along his side, and as you've already seen, blade wielded like into his outfit so he can have quick and easy access. You also notice because I'm assuming your character would know what it is, but a bag of holding over his shoulder.
Sure.
And yeah, that's about, and looks like he's wearing like decent clothing, not like the best, but definitely not like the worst.
All right. I think Voldarum follows your instructions and steps out on the deck, and he's clearly trying to work out some kinks in his muscles, cracking his shoulders and his knuckles, and kind of takes in a deep breath of the air around him and just goes, "Wow, my goodness. Well, you're certainly more interesting than the people who were here when I came on board, but you can't possibly be alone." And he looks around. Are we the only two on deck?
Currently, you're the only two on deck. I would say from... Nope, yeah, just the two of you so far.
All right.
I thought Nertho was staying on deck, but in trance.
But if
Nertho, go ahead and make me a... Go ahead and make me a wisdom roll. Just a wisdom roll. And see if you snap out of your trance.
Up here.
12. I would say at this point where the conversation between Gorwyn and another individual you don't recognize starts to go back and forth. Out of the shadows in the back and the aft side of the ship, kind of begin to come out of your trance, and you see Gorwyn talking to this individual you have never seen in your life before. What do you do?
I would like to try and sneak away to get to Riva.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Does
Oh,
Voldarum see this?
Your passive perception
Is higher than an 8.
way
Yes.
higher than an 8.
yeah.
You notice out of the corner of your eye this elvish figure in darker robes kind of try to like sneak away, but he kicks the side of the ship and you're like, fuck, and just kind of keeps going.
Why is there a piece of plastic with strange rounded raised marks on the floor of the ship?
I think Voldarum would look at him and kind of raise his hands again in a the universal "I'm not a threat" sign. How about everybody on the ship? We just round them up because I feel like I don't want to have to make introductions a bunch of times. I didn't mean to startle you.
Well, you.
No, you're breaking up, Nathan.
Any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, you appeared on a ship in the middle of the air. It's startling.
Well, to be fair, I was on the ship earlier. You appeared on the ship and took it into the air. So, well, we'll call it even.
Yeah. Maybe. Riva!
Yeah.
At that point, everyone else, you just hear Nathan go, Reba! And you all just kind of snap out of it. Some of you a little bit groggier than the others, but
did you find him?
Hey!
Voldarum just waving at everybody. Hello, hello.
What the? That's not Haldia.
No, I should hope not. Otherwise, I would be the first one to know. Voldarum, at your acquaintance, and he kind of bows theatrically to the group.
Captain Rivalos Skybound.
Oh, Captain. Newly minted, I take it. Given.
Reminted.
Oh, interesting. If you don't mind, where are we and where are we going? And
That
please say not Picos.
no, not. To be fair, we're going in a generally southern direction.
Oh, perfect.
But we're on the hunt.
Oh, how exciting. For anything in particular?
My brother.
Oh, well, family business. I don't want to poke my nose in.
Well, it's a bit late for that.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
I mean, this is my family's ship, and
Yeah,
I'm assuming that you were looking for passage off
Eh,
Pecos, and you thought, why not hop on the fancy one?
Well, yes. I mean, to be fair, this was the easiest ship to sneak onto, and my only plan was not Picos, so
And
right on the
why?
nose.
And why, pray tell, is that?
Well, because I hate it there, and also because not Picos is where my airship is.
I believe him.
Well, I mean, Pecos ain't for everybody. I mean, except for that it is for everybody.
I would have left a long time ago if I had known there were other options.
Yeah, they don't exactly make that public knowledge, but, and he takes another deep breath of the air. This...
Even if it's not public knowledge, I mean, to some of us we know, but it's very highly frowned upon to go outside of normal bounds.
Yes,
he says that with quite a bit of disdain in his voice. It's what happened to him.
Well, I've always found normal bounds to be rather boring.
Well, you say you have your own airship.
I had is probably a more appropriate term.
Dice.
What?
Dice. He looks at you and says dice, and kind of just shakes his head. Like, did you lose it in a dice game?
Oh, no, mutiny. It was rather ugly. I found myself in need of a crew, and I picked up the first available crew, and they decided that they didn't need the financier anymore, and that they could run the ship without me. And now I'm here.
Well, do you have any specialties?
Oh, I am a man of immense talent. Oh, were you looking for specifics?
I mean, if you don't mind. I mean, if obviously I'm not gonna just throw you over the side.
And I appreciate the hell out of that.
So I can put the plank back.
Yes. Draw the. I mean, we find ourselves here in a unique situation.
Indeed. Well, I am a seasoned veteran of what boring people call the wastelands. I know my way around the orc tribes and the travelers. I'm a fair hand with a blade, and I know a bit of magic.
I'll see. Well, we have been...
Everyone make me a history check except for... excuse me. Except for Voldurm at disadvantage.
Meaning you want me to make it at regular, or I'm exempt from the whole
You
thing?
are exempt from this rule.
Okay.
Ooh.
You said disadvantage?
Everyone at disadvantage.
I love it when the dice tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, you know how I feel about that, Nathan.
Mhm.
So your newfound passenger, stowaway, cargo, whatever you want to describe him or feel about him at this point, he says this word orc, and none of you have heard of it in your life before. It is a foreign word, but you just kind of it's nothing you've heard of. But he's very confident in what he says.
Well, I'll admit I don't rightly know what some of the things you're saying are. But that's neither here nor there. We have been tasked to find and bring my brother back.
Oh,
Dead,
fantastic. What did he
dead
do?
or alive. Eh, I'd rather not get into specific details at the moment. Let's just say that some very powerful people have tasked us with finding him.
Well,
Now,
fair enough.
that being said, I would want to find him anyway. But I guess in the meantime, you're kind of stuck with us.
Yes, it would seem so. I had a good feeling when I hid in that crate of potatoes, and it seems to be paying off. So until I get a feeling telling me to go somewhere else, this sounds like fun.
So I take it you're not associated with the Oct at all? You're not here on their orders?
Voldem just grimaces slightly at the mention of the Oct. No.
Although I suppose you wouldn't tell us the truth if you were.
Well, of course I would. I'm a very honest person.
Can Jareth make an insight check?
Yeah.
With the mention
Yeah,
of
how do you handle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jareth, go ahead and make me
Yeah.
an insight check blind to the GM, and then for
Yeah, Reva's gonna do the same.
yeah, go for it. And then for Voldem, go ahead and make me a persuasion or deception check of your choice, blind to GM. So drop down menu at the bottom. Just
Private GM roll?
private GM roll. Yep.
Private GM roll.
Yes, please.
I did blind, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Roll.
Oh, I did blind as well.
Nope, that's blind. That's fine. I can see blind rolls.
But I can't.
That's the point. So, Riva and Jareth, he's speaking his truth. He seems to be 100% honest in everything that he is saying, his body language. He appears to be a very trustworthy and honest individual through and throughout. You get nothing of a sense of trying to evade a question or present a lie.
With the insight, would I get any introspection to his reaction to mention of the Oct?
Yeah, that's a very fair.
Yeah, I would say the only thing is, Riva, you didn't notice this at all. Jareth, you would notice that when Redwin mentioned the Oct, Vorderm just kind of grimaced at that, and you're not sure whether it was a look of pain or disgust or disappointment or discrediting. You're not quite sure what that is, but there is something there where there's an ill thought towards them of some kind, enough for him to be like, ugh, give that look of I'm not okay with that.
It was definitively negative.
Yeah. Not a positive reaction to the word Oct. But that's all you get.
Yeah, I think Volderm just looks at the. He looks out over the prow of the ship and then looks back and he kind of waits on the consensus of these people who own the ship as to what's going to happen next.
Well, I mean, he's here.
Well, he's. I mean, to be fair, there's nowhere else to go right now, is there?
There's one place.
Oh, not. Don't mind him. He's just very protective.
I don't know that I want to eat those potatoes anymore.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. By the way, that's why the potato crate's always the best place to hide. No one wants to eat the potatoes.
You said you have knowledge of the ground?
Yes, I've spent the last 5 years of my life exploring the grand world outside of glorious Picos. There's more out here than they tell you.
With that said, in the general direction that we're headed south,
Oh.
are there any settlements that could accommodate an airship?
Indeed, there is one. I doubt you'll find on any of your maps. And he'll, how do I ping in Foundry?
You just left click on the spot and hold. It'll ping.
Yep.
Down here, there's a little village settlement called Alaskander. It's got edible food, potable water, and it's equidistant from everywhere civilized and everywhere interesting.
And what are the populace like?
Pure devils. But if you have coin and you don't stick your neck out, you won't get your head chopped off.
Reba would kind of look around at his compatriots and I guess a good place as any for him to run.
Oh, manhunt capital. This seems fun.
Because Reva would know that his brother would probably have lots of coin. And if he headed this way and we're tracking him and heading south, if that's, and like I said, you have knowledge of this area, and that's one of the only settlements in the area, that'd be as good a place as any to head towards.
What is
am
their
at
standing
your
with the
service.
arcane?
Would I know that, GM?
What was the question?
What is their standing with the arcane?
Like with magic in general, or?
Yeah, for the most part.
What do you mean by your standing with magic?
Are they in favor of? Are they against it? Is there any...
Are you talking about Aliskandar?
Yeah.
Uh,
Any potential shenanigans that he might be aware of?
So I would say that, Lord Durham, you would know that they're neither for nor against. They're honestly, again, as you said, if you've got the coin, they're more or less a welcoming society for those on the ground. But
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially like a pirate, like a not necessarily pirates, but like an outlaw town.
Okay.
yeah, a desert outlaw town over there, and it's there's a portion of it where coin talks, might is right talks. There is a societal hierarchy there, but again, it's very outlaw based, and it's as Voldurm explains kind of these things to the party. It's foreign. It makes no sense. And he just explaining the fact that, yeah, there's people who live out here in the waste, like, it's no big deal. Just, that's kind of a confusing and foreign idea to all of you.
Okay.
Yep. But like I said, player, even out of character, player wise, based off all the information that I have and the direction that we're headed, it makes the most sense to head there.
As good a place as any.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless anybody else has any insights, anything else that they're picking up on.
No, I agree. My biggest concern and thought is that if we were heading to Casmus, it would be
Well, we're
a
not
2-week journey and put a stress on our rations.
So, is the consensus to head to Skandar?
Yes.
I think so.
So, let's see. With that, another day of long rest is had, a new member added to your crew, and for the next day, if I could have someone roll me a d20.
I'll roll that one this time.
Go for it.
Is this a thing where I could use my knowledge of the wastes to give them advantage, or is this just like a straight roll?
I will say with your knowledge, I will say for whoever wants to roll today, roll a 2d20, and you pick the number that you want.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do you want the natural 20 or the 15?
I'll take the natural 20.
How could you not?
I just knew because I've either been rolling super high or super low, and I just had a bunch of low rolls that this roll was going to be high.
An ancient black dragon. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang.
Also, how dare you try to...
An ancient black dragon comes and lifts underneath the ship and propels it along at even further rates of speed.
Yeah, I think that's canon now.
The wind is favorable and your trip is shortened by a day. So, as you continue to travel south over these peaks to the southwest of Picos, heading towards Aliskandar, you notice the winds begin to pick up to your aft and continue to push you, and you were expecting to get this slower, grand view of this weird mountain range below you, but you're rapidly pushed beyond it. And at the end of the day, you end up making it to the southern portion of there. Nertho, you were on point for looking around with the spyglass.
Mhm.
If I could have you make a perception check.
That's almost 17.
Maybe I shouldn't be.
No, looking around, you've never seen... You spent a lot of time in the underground of Picos in the Fakes, and seeing such massive stone naturally out in the wild, its jutting edges and the water flowing beneath it's pleasant, but it's very unnerving as it's not natural to you, but it feels natural. And other than that, you're so awestruck by the landscape around that you're having a hard time focusing on, whether or not you can see this other sky ship or if there's a danger coming your way. But thankfully, the day is uneventful. If I could have the next person, unless someone wants to do something else or have a conversation or whatever, roll a d20 for the next day.
I don't know that we necessarily need to play out every single one of them, but I think Volderm's gonna make a point to at least have a high level kind of meet and greet with each person throughout the next couple days, just to learn their names and figure out a little bit of who they are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, we'll say that kind of happens over the journey. Just
Okay. Yep.
building that rapport. You know, everyone kind of getting to know each other, building a little bit of trust, unless someone opposes to that.
No.
So, all right. So for the third day, who would like to roll a d20? Nether and Sean have gone, so let's go to top of the order. Volderm, roll me a d20. You'd be next. Oh, sorry. I lied. Steven, you are next. Roll me a d20.
Tease.
2d20. You pick which one you want. Do you want the 3 or the 4?
Hard choice. I'll go
for
Eight
the
and eight.
go for the 4 right down the fucking middle.
Yeah. Go with the 4.
The skies are clear, and you travel at a normal rate. So, another day has passed.
Lucky.
You find yourself following the river at this point, passing beyond what you see as a great mountainscape. You know, it's something that all of you who have lived on Picos and the Phaeax have heard about or read about or studied, and just seeing it trail off in the distance and seeing a real river in front of you is just awe-inspiring. Nertho, if I could have you roll a perception check as well.
There we go.
24. You've heard of fish, but you've never seen... You've heard of fish, and you've seen a dead fish, like packaged and ready for consumption. But you've never seen creatures swimming in water so free in this river below that is actually quite magnificent and beautiful in its own right. It's inspiring, and you feel that tug pulling you towards the Iron Peaks. It just, the more you're out here and the more you're not directly touching or being a part of nature at this point, but just seeing the fact that it can exist out here, and those stories that your parents they've told to you in the past, it's becoming more lifelike, and it's inspiring, and you can't help but crack a smile throughout the day. Where normally you're a little more stoic, you crack a joke here and there, but it is a genuine smile. There is something that is joyous just being out here, not trapped in the earth in a floating city away from what actually is nature.
Is this like reaction visible to any of the other characters, or is it kind of like an aside?
I would say it's what?
I mean, we can roll for it if you want.
No, what is your... I'm trying to remember. What is your passive perception? I would say with your passive perception, Volderm, you would notice this. I would also say that... No, Jareth, you would not. No, just you, Volderm. Your passive perception, just kind of like giving that guiding hand and... you know, providing some insight about the land below and kind of helping to steer the ship for Riva. You can't help but notice Nertho just kind of cracking a smile, unbeknownst to himself.
Okay, I think so. In this world, is it like really a Dune world where if we like set foot on land, we're all going to die instantly, or
No, not at all.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
From your experience being on the ground side, it's dangerous, and it in certain areas, and it can be extremely dangerous in others. But
it's not like instant
it's
doom.
not an instant death. There are people, there are societies out there, and you've encountered a couple of them.
I think he would walk over, like once Volderm sees us, he'd walk over to Nertho and kind of cock an eyebrow and say, "You have a couple hours to spare. You want to do something that most city boys never get to do?" And suggest that they land the ship for a brief time. Have you ever dug your toes
Total
into the sand?
shock on his face that like that's even a possibility. Yeah, like I would like to do that very much.
Oh, take us down then. And he'll kind of pat you on the shoulder, and in the act of doing that, he'll cast guidance on you for just in case there's any kind of check required to land this thing.
we should ask Riva first. It's his ship.
Yeah, Riva is you're actively flying the ship during the day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, we've been going a few days. It wouldn't be too odd to set her down and run some maintenance checks.
Yes, I think sweep number 3 needs some attention.
Except this one ain't got no sweeps.
All right. So with that, Riva, you begin to, at the next day, bring the ship down to a point. The gemstones that help keep it aloft and provide power to the propellers in the backside, you give it this soft landing, and you're unsure whether or not it's something that you can do, because you've never had to land it on the ground. It's always been at a skyport where there's people bringing you in, the ropes are thrown, they tie it down, and it's unsettling, but you kind of realize almost instinctually that it's not much different than landing in the air as bringing it down into the sand. And you notice some rocks jutting out, and you move it. Obviously, you maneuver it away from those, and you find a nice patch to land it within 200-300 feet from this river. And for the first time, all of you who have been living on Picos are on the ground. You're on the face of Taurinia.
I think once the initial awe of this landing wears off, because Volderm's been keeping an eye on the group, Volderm takes his boots off and then digs his bare feet into the dirt here and gestures for the rest of the group to do the same and just feel earth.
And if it's the next day, there's a spell I would have swapped out. And I would do the same. I would take my boots off, and I would turn to Riva and say, "There's something I've always wanted to try," and I would cast plant growth. All the plants within 100-foot radius to become thick and overgrown. I don't think we have time for the 8-hour version, but yeah, I'm gonna.
So
those.
You watch as Volderm takes the lead and pops his boots off and digs his toes into the earth and the sand around it, and it goes from being less sandy as he kind of moves closer to this river. It is a river. Yeah, it's a river. It's it's something you've read about, and it's exciting, and it's normal to him. But to the rest of you, you're like, this is a foreign concept. But what strikes you as the oddest of these things, it's not as weirdly as it sounds. Volderm going towards the water. It's the second Nertho sets foot on the sandy soil below, as the earth begins to pop forth with life. It grows, and you see grass and flowers and the inklings of trees sprouting and bushes. It's in its own way, a little terrifying, but it's magnificent and it's beautiful. And Nertho himself, you are shocked by how effective that this energy flowing out from you is into the land around you. And it's magnificent. And Riva and Gorwin and Jareth, you just, and Redwin, you look down and it's this is a sight to behold. It's Redwin, it's things you've read about that are happening in the flesh. Gorwin, you can't even comprehend this. And Jareth, this is, you know, when they
He's a witch.
yeah,
Burn them.
when they taught you about what heresy is, this almost feels like it. However, you've in the short so not in the short amount, in the last week or two, you've really learned to trust Nertho and his instincts, and just seeing this spark of life erupt around him is actually very calming. So, what are the rest of you doing?
I take off my gauntlets and keep them close, but I will kneel down and just like feel the grass and the flowers and stuff like that, and then kind of the soil underneath it as well. Following in kind of Uldern's and Nerthos, what they did.
So it honestly feels the same as what you would experience from the grass and life of vegetation on Picos, but there's something a little bit different about it. It feels more alive, and it gives a fresher scent.
I turn to Nertho and I ask him, how long do you think this will last?
Looking at the spell, well, in character, it's the first time I've done it. I don't know. But yeah, the plants ever go away. The long version works for a year. I don't know. But if I just act like I'm casting it, it goes in, right? Oh crap, I'm not on the screen though, and I just closed my character sheet.
It doesn't say.
I'll add your
Yeah.
characters to the screen for ease.
I put him back on, but
Like I'm looking on D&D Beyond, and it doesn't say how long.
yeah, I
think-
think it just happens.
They're just like regular ass plants now, right?
Yeah, like they'll die, if they don't get enough water and food and stuff like that. But
Yeah, the 8 hour lets you enrich it. All plants within a half-mile radius centered on a point within range become enriched for a year.
You have created this space of vegetation that never had existed before.
Do we know what the term oasis means?
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
yeah, I think you're talking about a Nartho hole.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you've heard of a Nertho hole before.
Well, I think you just need to stay down here along this river and keep casting the spell and bring the wastelands back.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Netho, it's kind of hard to walk through, though.
Yeah. Well, for now. But the plants will bring animals. Eventually it'll balance out.
Just so you know, Jason, you're on the wrong channel.
Am I?
Only some of us can see those.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah, I'm in the meme channel.
the lost minds of
Yes, man.
I'll fix that real quick. Ignore that size.
No, there's a. I can have a day to kill and want to make a town really like us.
Hmm. This is, I mean, this is magic beyond what Voldurm, I think, has seen too. So he's just impressed by all of this. He thought they were just gonna like splash around in the river a little bit.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do next for sure.
Yeah. Well, I do have to
Can I
call
make
it. It's
a
almost
survival
it's
check?
Yeah.
And
So
look
for
for
it.
fruit?
I will say, with Nertho creating life where life did not exist, a direction had, a destination desired. We will end tonight's session and pick up at the riverbed south of this mountain peak, south of Picos and Pios, where a new member of Voldurm has led the party to touch down on the surface of Taurinia for the first time in any of their lives. And
Also, hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
welcome Nick to the
Welcome,
party
welcome.
for until he leaves. So this is our first guest character. So I'm excited and glad to have him aboard. So Nick was one of the people who was another player character with me in our 5-year game we finished up. And gosh, we've been playing D&D together for
Too long,
decade
Yeah.
plus.
or more, yeah,
Almost,
off and on.
Yeah, for years. So yeah, this is Nick. Nick,
I rolled a
welcome to the
physical. I
party.
rolled a physical dice and rolled an 18.
I didn't see it. No, I'm just kidding.
See, for me, it doesn't matter.
I think that means you win. I'm pretty sure.
So,
No, you saw my rolls tonight were either like 5, 6, or 20.
Yep. So, but yeah, no, welcome. Super excited to have you, and we will see where this goes as everyone heads south to Alice Kandar.
Yeah, welcome to actual Earth, like the planet that you live on.
Welcome to Earth.
Or just the
Damn it.
really, really close moon.
Mm.
So,
Yep.
all right.
I said Earth, not Earth.